All right, this episode of White Lotus picked things up a bit. We got lots of themes and characterization to explore, and I got some predictions as far as where I think the show's going to go. Don't forget to join the Foster Fam with me and 400 other members, either on Patreon or as a YouTube member, so I can answer your questions and theories, and we can break down these shows together. In my last video, I talked about how they were using camera angles as a way to relate to the predator animal theme of the show, but now, after watching this episode and hearing this piece of dialogue,
I did try to pray.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
I felt like I was just talking to myself.
You don't ever feel like a presence or anything? I do.
now I'm starting to think that the shots in the show where the camera is kind of doing what it did at the beginning there and at the end right here, I'm starting to think this is the presence of the island. Even all the shots we get of the animals here and there and transition things, there's a lot to do with religion and spirituality in this season. So I think those type of camera shots represent that presence, but also kind of wondering if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or maybe there's no morality to it at all. But the music that shows up sometimes also is kind of suspenseful, and so I don't know, maybe it can represent both this kind of like predator animal that's stalking, which would represent the humans there, and then also this overall omniscient presence.
No wonder she looks defeated. I thought you said she looked great.
I told y'all last episode that these women do not like each other. I told y'all, and now we're getting these scenes where they're just gossiping behind each other's back. So in this scene, they're talking about Laurie, but then later on, they're talking about Jaclyn.
It's been like that.
Yeah, but you think with all her success, she'd have mellowed out, though. Narcissist.
Now, besides their own internal drama, I'm not necessarily sure how they connect to the rest of the cast yet and how everything's going to come together with these three. I'm not sure. It seems like it has something to do with this guy, like he wants to break into Hollywood or have some type of success and he's trying to get in close, but I don't know. In the last video, I asked for Lockie to please not follow in Saxon's footsteps, but it definitely looks like he's going to. Because between this scene and this weird scene right here, he's on some weird stuff just like Saxon is. And it seems like there's this trauma of not being paid attention to from their dad and needing some type of validation. I caught that in this scene right here.
How's the gym? They have a rowing machine?
Timothy?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Seems like Saxon just wants that love and it was never there, and now he's trying to find it. It has become hypersexualized, and I don't like this dude. And then this scene made me not like the family as a whole. They over here cracking trans jokes, and then the mom has this weird relationship with Saxon too, where she like enables and puts up with all his terrible behavior. But I did find something cool that shows a big difference between Saxon and Lockie, and it happened back to back. So in this scene, Saxon decides to get a massage and he's trying to feel something, right? Literally, unfortunately. Then you have Lockie here being in a sensory deprivation tank. So one brother is trying to just have any type of stimulus sensation. The other brother's trying to get rid of that, which makes me feel like he's feeling something that's feeling uncomfortable to him. He just doesn't want to feel anything at all. And unfortunately, Piper's in a situation where she's not only being preyed upon by her family, but just by men here at the resort too. And I honestly do think at one point she's gonna snap, like she's just gonna have enough and something's gonna happen. When it comes to Mook and Guy Talk, their relationship isn't really going anywhere. Their characters aren't really going anywhere yet, although she does seem to end up liking him a little bit by the end of the episode. But I do hope their characters evolve just beyond a will they won't they get together relationship. Once they start interacting with more people from the show, I hope they have like way better characterization than that. Now this scene is interesting.
Gosh, it's such a small world, isn't it? I just saw Claire right before I left. If I talk to her, I'll tell her you said hello.
So Victoria did not remember her at all, and I'm wondering if that's just from the drug use, or maybe she was high the entire weekend, which makes me think, how long has she been like this? Because I believe they said that was 10 years ago. So I wonder if she's been an addict that long, or if all the drugs she's currently doing are having an effect on what she remembers in the past. But the most interesting part about Victoria's character in this episode was this.
Most people don't have good values. They're scammers. You're all gorgeous and you come for money.
So you have to be hyper vigilant, okay? You have to be on your guard.
Also, notice who it shifts to right after saying that, Gary, which we're going to talk about in a second. But I just want to say it's hilarious and ironic that she's telling people to be vigilant and on their guard, and she's so out of it, she won't be able to do that, which is where I think Gary comes in. So Gary, he's known as Gary now. He was Greg in the past seasons. We know he's a scammer. So Victoria was just talking about scammers. And I think they're definitely going to be setting up their family to get robbed because of this one scene right here.
God, he's such a douche. He was on the boat with us. He's from a family of wankers. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Cute.
Notice as soon as Chelsea said that, the other lady started texting. I think she was texting Gary, being like, hey, we got a mark. We got a hit. Let's do it. Talking about Chelsea, in my last video, I said I wasn't sure if Chelsea and Rick were like actually together. The relationship is so weird. I can't tell if he's just standoffish, like don't touch me, or if they're a new relationship, or if it's just some random person he brought to the island with him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But then there was this scene. Like he seems so uncomfortable with her, and it kind of almost looked like he tried to push her off a little bit too. So I just don't know what's going on with them. And also this scene with Rick was amazing.
I never had an identity. I don't need to detach. I'm already nothing.
Even nothing can be an illusion you tell yourself.
If nobody puts gas in the tank is empty. That's not an illusion. The car won't start. Nothing comes from nothing, right?
Nothing comes from nothing. That was an amazing piece of dialogue for his character, but also I think it's going to be a theme for the show overall. We're kind of seeing that already with, like I said, like with Saxon. It seems like no one put anything into him as a kid, like no values, no attention, anything like that. And now we see how he's turning out. So I think we're going to see more of that theme. Nothing comes from nothing. I'm going to be paying attention to that every episode moving forward. Now we see Chelsea in this robbery, right? She makes it a point to keep on telling people that she almost died that day. Like she wanted that attention. Everyone's trying to get attention in this show. But my wife pointed out something really interesting. In this scene, she asked him to protect her, right? And she wants to be held. She wants support. And then right after this, he says that he's going to Bangkok. And so for real, if they're together, he's just not involved. He just doesn't care. So I want to see where their relationship goes, just so I can get a better idea of what it actually is. Also, let's talk about that robbery real quick, because once again, my wife has been pointing out some amazing stuff in this show, because I did not notice this. So this guy who was running those tests for Jaclyn and them is this same guy right here, and watch what he does to the gate.
Yeah, you good? What I have?
So that guy is definitely involved with this robbery, and he works at the resort, so that's interesting. But also with Talk, I just realized, because I had said earlier I want to see where his character goes. I just remembered, so he was involved in this robbery part in the sense of he was trying to stop the robber, but then also at the end he's overhearing everything Timothy is saying on this phone.
I bought this burner to call you. You need to get a good lawyer like yesterday.
And when it comes to Tim, I don't know why this man was saying so much over the phone. He doesn't actually know if this guy Ken actually even has a burner phone. Like this might blow up in his face. But then also, like I said, Talk was overhearing him. So I think there's obviously going to be some type of conflict there. I honestly feel like it's the Ratliff family that shoots up this place, between the incel son, between the dad about to lose everything he's ever worked for. They're definitely the catalyst at the very least. Now, here's one of my biggest questions I have. So Belinda seemed to have recognized him, but then also was like, nah, it couldn't possibly be him. But what I want to know is, does she know what transpired with what he did to Tanya? Like, does she know that information? And when she recognizes that it is him, is that going to be like a huge thing? I don't know. I'm not sure. Because if I'm remembering correctly, her and Tanya had a falling out. And so maybe she just stopped paying attention to her completely. But I feel like what happened to her would have been in the news, If you like this video, it'd be awesome if you could support the channel either through Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. It allows me to keep doing this and bring the best content possible. I'll greatly appreciate it. And like I said, you'll be able to join an awesome community, and I'll answer all your questions that you have, and we can break down this show together. But yeah, episode 2 picked up steam. I still want to see it, you know, pick up even more steam and more momentum. It's definitely a slow burner so far, so we'll see what happens in the next episode. Till next week, I'll see y'all.